What's up guys, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and this here has the world's first glasses-free 3D OLED technology. It is the ASUS ProArt StudioBook 16 3D OLED, and I've teamed up with ASUS to bring you an exclusive first look. Now guys, I get it. When I first heard of this, I was thinking 3D? Who needs 3D and why 3D? And how good is it actually going to be? But I have to tell you that once I tested this in person, I have been pretty impressed, and it's the best glasses-free 3D that I've seen on any device. Now you may already be familiar with the ASUS ProArt StudioBook lineup. The laptops are great for content creators, especially if you're somebody who does video editing like myself, if you're a photographer and you do image editing, if you're somebody who does 3D work. But with the ASUS Spatial Vision technology, you're now going to be able to enable 3D. Now this is an additional option. You don't have to get it if you don't want to. But if you do get it, the best thing for me is that when you're viewing normal 2D content, this is still a really nice display. We've got the world's first 16-inch 3.2K 120Hz 3D OLED HDR display with a 16:10 aspect ratio, 550 nits of peak brightness, and a 100% DCI-P3 color gamut. So normally with 3D displays, you kind of have a compromise because when you're watching regular content, it doesn't actually look that good. But here, everything looks crisp and clear. But when you are viewing 3D content, that's when the lenticular-based auto stereoscopic technology is going to kick in. What does that mean? Well, if you're familiar with how 3D works, essentially you have to see a different image for each eye, which gives you the illusion of 3D. Now with ASUS's spatial vision technology, you have two cameras which are using eye tracking and specialized optical lenses which project a different image to each eye. Now it's impossible for me to show you in this video how this effect actually looks, but in my experience, this is the best glasses-free 3D that I've seen on any display. Now a few of the additional reasons for that is because we have a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio, 0.2 milliseconds ultra-fast response time, which reduces crosstalk and dizziness with much better image quality. And of course, we have that 120 Hz refresh rate, which gives you that smooth experience when you're viewing 3D content. Now, I think all of these things combined really make this unique compared to other 3D displays which you may have seen before. Now, what are the use cases of having a 3D display like this? Well, of course, if you are viewing 3D content, if you're gaming, you're gonna have that immersive experience. We've got a big emphasis on the metaverse, and instead of wearing a VR headset, you're gonna be able to have that glasses-free experience here on this display. And also, if you're a content creator that works with 3D objects, you can design objects and really see them like you haven't been able to before. And there's a wide range of compatibility. So you've got over 20 plus standards supported, including Unreal Engine as well as OpenGL. There's also support for over 20 3D software applications, including Blender as well as Cinema 4D. And for your playback options, again, over 20 is supported, including YouTube and Vimeo. So that's the 3D display option. As I mentioned, that is an option if you want to go with it. But let's take a look around the rest of the laptop. So first up, we have this stepwise design, which allows for better heat dissipation, but also gives you a 180-degree hinge. We've got US military grade durability, as well as the ASUS Antimicrobial Guard Plus. There's a 28% enlarged haptic touchpad, which now has a 16:10 aspect ratio. So you might be wondering, why do we have a 16:10 aspect ratio for the touchpad? Well, this is the world's first haptic touchpad with stylus support. So you'll actually be able to use a stylus here on the touchpad. I'm somebody who uses the graphics tablets. I gave up using a mouse around 15 years ago, and it's so much better for precision, especially if you're editing images and video. And it's great that I'll now be able to do this while I'm on the go by using this touchpad here. However, what really makes the ProArt StudioBook unique is the ASUS dial. Now, I absolutely love the ASUS dial. Not only can you use it for system controls like changing the brightness and volume very quickly, but it is compatible with many apps. So if you are in Adobe Photoshop and you want to change the brush size, you're going to be able to do that very quickly and easily. And you'll also be able to zoom in and out of your edits. But with the ProArt Creator Hub 2, you now have color control management, but it also now works with pretty much any app. So you can now assign shortcuts with the ASUS dial and utilize it across pretty much anything. Now, what's powering the ProArt Studio 16 3D OLED? Well, you can get up to the next-gen Intel Core HX series CPUs as well as the next-gen NVIDIA GeForce RTX GPUs. Up to 64 gigabytes of RAM with up to 8 terabytes of PCIe 4.0 SSD storage and up to 150 watts of total TDP. We've also got a 38% reduction of the motherboard core area, which increases the overall cooling efficiency of the system. As well as that, we've got liquid metal to maximize the CPU heat dissipation, as well as ASUS's iCool Pro thermal technology and full vents with the quad exhaust. So this is going to be more than capable for pretty much anything that you're going to throw at it, including gaming. But with all of the cooling features on here, you will also be able to get sustained performance. Right, now for the ports, we do have a USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, an audio jack, an SD Express 7.0 card reader, 2 Thunderbolt 4 USB Type-C ports, another USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, a security lock, and at the back we have an HDMI 2.1 port, the DC in, an RJ45 LAN port, and Wi-Fi 6E is also supported. For audio, we do have AI noise cancelling and a 4 mic array with a smart amplifier which can get up to 3.5 times louder. And for the battery, we have a 90 watt hour battery. So the ASUS ProArt StudioBook 16 3D OLED. As I said, this is the best glasses-free 3D that I've ever experienced. But I think the best thing for me about this is that when you're not using 3D, there is no real compromise. You're still getting a sharp, vibrant, and smooth display, which is going to be ideal for pretty much anything that you throw at it. And for somebody like me, who's a content creator, I think this is an ideal package which has been made with content creators in mind. Now, the ASUS Spatial Vision technology for 3D will also be available on the VivoBook Pro 16X 3D OLED. So if you're somebody who will not be needing all of the features of the ProArt like I will be, then that might be a more affordable option for you if you do want that 3D technology. What do you guys think of the ASUS Spatial Vision 3D technology? Can you see yourself using it? Do drop me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do smash that like button for me. Don't forget to also subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV, and I'll see you next time.